Hey, everybody. Good morning and happy Thursday, February 22nd. 222 is the date. 24. 222 2024. Almost a whole lot of twos, just a few. In 200 years, we're gonna have a good intro to the show. All right. So anyway, here we are. It's Plant-Based Morning Show. We're sponsored by Compliment. LoveCompliment.com is the place to go for that. If you are on Instagram, you will see that I've titled the show a new way. Now it says the real version of the show is at youtube.com/NoMeatAthlete. So we've been trying to push that recently. It's a better show, so please get over there. Don't subject yourself to the terrible audio on Instagram. And while you're at it, quit Instagram anyway. It's not good for you. All right, Doug has been added. Doug, how are we doing today?
Matt, we're doing great. I'm counting down the days to 222.
Great.
No, wait, 200 years. What did you say? It's 198 years, right?
In 198 years, it'll be all twos. Yeah, that'll be really nice. I was just settling.
222, 22. That'll be good. I'm counting down the days.
Yeah, I mean, so hopefully we'll have some distant relatives still around. Hopefully the planet will still be functioning, and everything will be good. All right, so
maybe it won't be around. Maybe we'll live forever.
It's not impossible. It's like when I was a baby or a young child, I would have said that's just a joke. But now there are some people who think that's going to happen, and a lot of people think probably not, and they're probably right, probably not. But it's possible. Anyway, let's see. Doug, you got Thirsty Thursday tonight. You must be excited about that. I had a great sleep last night. My Oura Ring didn't say so, but I know that I did because I didn't have any major wake ups. So I'm pretty excited about that. Got up nice and early. Almost made a second round of coffee this morning after. I was just so excited to be awake, and I was reading, played some piano, and I was in my good spirits. Made another coffee, and then I finally said, "No, I'm not going to do that. It's just maybe that's my whole problem. Maybe I self-sabotage." And start doing that when I start sleeping well.
So does your Oura Ring say that you sleep better when you're waking up? Like getting more deep sleep if you're waking up?
The Oura Ring doesn't distinguish very much between if I wake up for 2 hours in the night and then sleep in 2 extra hours, it will make my efficiency number go down. But overall sleep, the Oura Ring still likes that. It gives you a high score for that because you're still getting a good total. But the way I feel in those days is really bad. Yeah. So I'd rather have a less total amount of sleep, but have it all be connected. And the Oura doesn't reward that.
Does Oura do like recovery score and that kind of thing?
They give you a readiness score, which is based on your sleep combined with your previous day's activity and your like heart rate data and stuff like that. I mean, it's interesting. It's generally pretty reflective of how I feel, but I don't use it for activity right now. I don't really like it for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that. Thirsty Thursday. You got some plans for that, Doug? What's going on? Tacos?
I think. Well, so band night is canceled, unfortunately.
What happens?
Somebody can't go, so and we're only a trio, so when one's down, you might as well just not practice.
You can do a side project.
I could do a side project, yeah. But no, I'm gonna take Eliza skiing, and then but I'm gonna get back in time to join the one who is available for the Hornets game on TV.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. All right, man. Skiing on a weeknight, it's a savage move.
I know. I'm excited.
Yeah, you know where I got savage from the Tony P commenters. They always tell him he's savage, like wearing a button-up blazer to the rave club that he's going to. They tell him he's savage.
Yeah. Did you see that new guy that I sent you?
I didn't click on it that day for some reason, and then I forgot about it. But I will check that out.
He's the new Tony P, and like all the commenters are trying to get them to meet and stuff. And collab. Yeah, it's funny.
I saw a Tony P guy who was a fan of Tony P, and then he started doing his own Tony P inspired things, and then they like went and met up for dinner, and the comments were jumping on it. Yeah, so I thought maybe it was going to be that.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, good. All right, well, good activity in here already today. People are chatting it up. Britters, Alex Turton, Big Meaty X Claws, who we're seeing more and more of recently. Phyllis Hauser, Dale Stevens, Britters, who likes my shirt, Charlotte FC. Opening match this coming Saturday. I'll be there.
Oh boy.
Mr. Jeffrey, Carmen, Leslie Knight says I'm gardening today instead of building my car, which is where I usually am on Wednesday and Thursday. So Leslie Knight builds cars. That's pretty
Whoa.
cool. You seem
And
like a
as
car
Mr.
build
Jeffries says,
guy, Doug.
Leslie, you are endlessly impressive. I agree with that. You think I'm a car guy? Is that what you said?
Well, I think you like making furniture and stuff, so I could see you like restoring an old car or something in your driveway.
I do like making furniture. I know nothing about cars. Like absolutely
Yeah,
nothing
I
about
don't
cars.
either. Yeah, I really don't either. All right, Dale Stevens, Kate, AK Rivercat, Ben Chode, and this might be the most unique talks in the first 5 minutes of the show that we've seen. So good to see everybody. Nice. Thank you for coming, chiming in, participating. It's always good.
Alex asked if I have any plans for the Black Mountain Marathon this weekend. And I teased on our team call. I'm not sure if I teased here that I might be jumping into a race this weekend.
I don't know. I didn't hear that. I don't think you said it here.
Okay. Well, I'm not
Maybe
doing
you
it.
did.
I backed out. I was going to join in the Black Mountain Marathon this weekend, and I decided ultimately against it. But it is that is one of the first places that you and I met. You came and saw me run it for the first time. I guess it wasn't the first place we met, but you came in when I was living in DC. I came down to run it, and
Oh,
you were
weren't
living in
living there then?
Nashville.
Okay, I didn't realize you weren't living there then.
No, and you and Aaron came out to cheer me on, which was awesome.
Right. Yep. Okay, I didn't realize that was that Black Mountain Marathon.
But yeah, it was the Black Mountain Marathon or Mount Mitchell Challenge. It has kind of two names, but
okay.
And
so you did a 40-mile thing then, right?
Yeah, the challenge is 40 miles, but there's also a turnaround at a marathon.
Okay. Well, you got to do that as a local politician. You could get all kinds of media attention. Local town councilman runs in more ways than one, or something like that. Shows up to run marathon, runs in more ways than one.
That's a good headline. There you go. I should have but I didn't, and or I'm not going to, not this time. But a bunch of my friends are, so I'm going to go out and like try to meet them on various parts of the course and everything. It's gonna be fun. Good weekend.
Good. All right. Good. Glad to hear that. All right. Good. Well, I was thinking as I was preparing for the show today, I was starting to feel Groundhog's Day kind of vibes, and I was thinking we need new segments or something. We need like this having the weather report, and then the other thing, and the introduction before that. It's a nice little format. It's good. We've fallen into a rhythm, but it feels like we're just doing the same thing every day, like exactly the same thing.
We are doing the exact same
topics. Yeah, the same topics. Things come and go, and like for a month, we'll talk about one main theme, and then it'll shift to something else. So we got to come up with more stuff. Like Downward Facing Doug, I think needs to come back on a certain day of the week. Some other thing comes back on a certain day of the week. We need things. We need people to tell us ideas, basically. More asking the crowd, please plan the show for us. Tell us what you want.
You know, it's not Groundhog's Day. We have all of our regulars here. Anne-Marie,
including
Mr.
Stephen Dunn, who just joined us. Monica
Steven,
Gallegos, who I'd maybe recognize
Ritters.
that name, I think, from one other time. Yep.
So many, but you know where like Ben is fairly new to the chat. Monica, I think, is new to the chat.
True.
Maybe not today. Alex, we got all these new people who are coming, like repeats that are coming back. I love it.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. That's not new. And maybe people new to the show aren't tired of it yet. But I do worry that it's always the same. So we'll have to work on that. Yeah, okay. I did some texting with Steven this morning about some soccer stuff. That was exciting. Yeah. So anyway, here he is. All right. Well, let's jump into our show. I'm not sure how long all this stuff's going to take us today. We'll see. It might take us to the end. Often does on Thursday. But nothing major, crazy, significant. But so here we go. Unless you got anything else, Doug. Any more stuff?
Dale says, I enjoy the banter. It's like we're eavesdropping in on a conversation. Oh, wait, I did the wrong one. And this is the only time you and I talk is live on these shows. So it kind of is eavesdropping in on a conversation.
Yeah, it is exactly that. You're right. We sometimes try not to talk about stuff off of it because we say we'll just talk about that on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
So that we have something to talk about.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to remedy that soon enough, Doug. I've got a couple Asheville trips planned in the next couple months.
All right.
So one of them will be the
I'll believe it when I see it. I've been trying to publicly get you to commit to hang out with me for a while now.
Hey, listen, Charlotte FC soccer season begins. Open invite. Come anytime you want. Anytime you're here, we'll go to a game as long as I'm around, which I should be.
And there's a game happening. All right.
Yeah.
Done.
Ditto for Hornets games.
Oh, wow. Now you're talking my my language.
I had fun at a Hornets game, the one I went to. I want to go to a Checkers game. You ever heard of the Checkers, Doug? It's a
No.
minor league hockey in Charlotte.
Oh,
They have it in Greenville, which I've been to. But I think I'd like to see some minor league hockey.
that'd be fun. That'd be really fun.
I heard someone say that the hits are harder in minor league hockey because the athletes are lower paid, less valued, less protected, so it's harder hitting in order to get fans, I guess. All right. Anyway, let's get started here so we don't waste anybody's time, any more time. First up, Bill Gates has written on the Gates Notes blog, which I never knew about today, but he's got a Gates Notes blog, and he's into plant-based animal fats now. That's his new thing. He loves cheeseburgers, but he has said they're not good for the environment, and he's now investing in a company called Savor that starts with fats of varying chains of carbon and hydrogen atoms, blah blah blah, boring stuff, and then they somehow turn it into things that taste same molecules as milk, cheese, beef, vegetable oils. I don't know if this is from precision fermentation, but I think it is. He just didn't use that exact phrase that I saw. So he's excited about that. He thinks that fat is what's missing from these things, and I think that's right. This new Beyond formulation is very exciting. The avocado oil is a nice upgrade from coconut oil, but it's just not going to be. It's not going to be the same as animal fat in the burgers.
No.
And if they can get that thing down, it really might overcome the big taste objection with this stuff. It's not going to overcome the health one for sure. That people are still going to have that, but I think that's a real thing. So I'm glad this is happening. This conversation is happening.
Yeah, me too. I think it's great.
Good.
I would eat some precision fermented fat in my vegan.
Yeah, right. I would too, as long as it was not all the time. I just would.
Yeah.
I don't know, and maybe it'll come out that, as someone said on the show today, if it's molecularly equivalent, there can't be an extra health issue. If it's the same molecule, it's the same molecule. Doesn't matter how it got to be that way. And that sounds like it would be right, but I just don't know for sure. Anyway, he goes on about the environmental benefits of doing this instead of getting it from real animals. He doesn't really mention health at all, which is I don't know, like I guess that's not his fight. Is not about getting people healthy,
No,
but
the environment. Yep.
Yeah. It just seems weird though, like to overlook that and think like, but is this animal fat that we are now replicating exactly? Isn't that kind of problematic? Like, and the cheeseburgers in general, right? Just because we can eat cheeseburgers now that taste exactly the same and don't have animals in them, it doesn't mean that we necessarily should. Like when people are so terribly unhealthy. So I don't know. It's just interesting that like that's just not part of the conversation. But I get it. I understand why it's not. Just seems weird.
Yeah.
All right, Doug, you'll be excited about this one. This is big for you. Fernando Alonso, who of course you will know, as a Formula One driver from Spain. What team is he on? He mentioned the car, and I think I cut that part out.
Aston Martin?
Yes, that's what it was. Aston Martin. I thought that was like old cars. They still make cars?
They still make cars. Make lots of cars. And they make race cars that are very fast.
Okay. You're not a car guy, though, but you know about these cars.
I do know about those cars. Maybe I am a car guy.
All right, well, Fernando Alonso has turned 42 last year, and he has shifted partly towards a plant-based diet, which to me, you can say then you're eating a plant-based diet. If you're like plant-based already implies partly, or it implies that it's not necessarily
a little flexibility. Yeah.
Right. But anyway, it contributed to his best ever physical test results prior to the 2024 Formula One season start. And he's turned 42, but he's continued to defy the common perception that athletes are on the decline once they progress into their 30s. And that's what the plant-based diet seems to be good for athletes. We've seen that in the NBA a lot. Not quite as much in other big sports, but the prolonging of careers seems to be the benefit recently. All right, so he's trialing a plant-based diet. Of course, Lewis Hamilton does this famously. I think he may do it for ethical reasons, but he's definitely cited performance benefits. Does this performance really matter, Doug? Are these guys really athletes, or is this just like playing chess or something?
They're definitely athletes.
They are.
Yeah. The G-forces on your body and your neck.
Okay.
What?
If you can withstand no, I think it's right, but like, does that make you an athlete if you can go into withstand G-forces?
But what makes you an athlete, though? I mean, like seriously, I'm not, because the split-second reaction, the timing, the being able to read things, and
you're right, all that for sure, combined with a little bit of a physical element,
Yeah.
and it sounds like this is one that maybe you could be really tired out and not able to drive as well anymore. So yeah, I'm kind of just fooling around here. This is a
Yeah.
sport. Gaming. What about FIFA? Kind
See,
of all the same arguments apply. If I just put that myself in a
no,
G-force
except
chamber,
minus the physical part, right? So there is that like split second reaction and kind of reading things, but there's no physical.
what if I had VR goggles and then I was in a VR machine that shook me around while I was doing it, and I felt the hits and things?
I don't know, maybe a little bit of a stretch.
Okay. All right. Well, it says maybe more into a plant-based diet, or more or less say that route. So sounding less and less strict. Maybe not completely strict, but into that route. I don't think English is his first language, clearly. I mean, it's obviously not because he's from Spain. Try to find a little bit more energy from the food that you eat and a little bit more from your reserve as well in your body, and try to have more endurance from there. So that's a lot of words to say very little. Positive test results. And yeah, the people say I guess he believes he may race until he's 50, but he says that a grueling schedule could prevent that. So another high profile athlete, I guess, is he high profile, Doug? Is he famous?
Oh yeah, he's like former champion, one of the best for sure. You know what? Well, so this is interesting to me for two reasons. One is that there are only 20 F1 drivers, and
Okay.
now 2 of them are vegan, or mostly plant based, I should say.
Any women or all men?
All men.
Okay.
And so what's that? That's 10%, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good.
It is. You're right. It is good.
That's pretty awesome. And Lewis Hamilton's also on the older side. He's 39, I think. He's kind of at the twilight of his career.
Yep.
So, to think about the older athletes, the older drivers being, going towards the plant-based diet, maybe that'll push some of the younger ones. All we need is one more, and we've got 25%. Nope. 15%. Yeah. 15%. 15%. I mean, that's pretty cool.
I got a dog. A dog has wandered onto the set here. Yeah, so we kind of always, with like ultra running, I remember we used to measure it this way. We'd say like how many ultra runners who are winning races or in the top 3s or whatever podium are vegan compared to the general population. And if it was like 1 out of 20 in the general population, maybe it's more when you go beyond the US. It seemed like we were seeing a lot more than that, maybe more like a 1 out of 10 ratio. So that is good evidence, kind of as good as we have, that it does in fact work for these sports.
Mm-hmm.
Is ultra running a sport? I don't even know. Can't say. Doesn't require quick decisions or any of this other stuff. All right, moving on.
Not a sport. No, just a leisure activity.
Pokeworks, no relation to Pokemon, I don't think, is a fast casual poke restaurant chain, and they're in San Francisco Bay. They're also in New York, and they are rolling the dice on this plant-based sushi grade tuna, 100% plant-based. It is made out of pea protein and seaweed, which is exactly what the one I tried tasted like it was made out of, and that's why I hated it. That was in Whole Foods. They're going to do this for their regular customers, I guess, just in bowls and whatever else. I don't know what they use this in, but it's happening and it's good, I guess. But it was so bad when I tried it that I don't know what's going on here.
I can't comment. I haven't tried it. I would like to try it, and I would definitely try it. Yeah, I can't really comment.
Well, if you come to Charlotte, we can go to a Whole Foods and grab it. You probably can do that in Nashville too.
I probably can. We do have Whole Foods.
All right. Speaking of non-fish fish, though, biotech startup Atlantic Fish Company, which is in Raleigh, North Carolina, our backyard, Doug. They are cellular agriculture. So this is cultivated. This is lab-grown, cell-based fish. They're doing that free of plastics, mercury, antibiotics, and animal suffering. When I read that, it kind of made a bell ring in my head. I realized that like we've been reading a little bit recently about the nanoplastics or the microplastics that are in all of our foods. And I was thinking, there's no escape from this stuff. You can't get away from it. It's in the tofu. It's in the plant-based meat alternatives. And with seafood, I think it's even worse because then you get into the heavy metals. And I think the plastics too there are a big problem because it does mention plastics here. This is a really great reason to do the cultivated meat thing. If they can engineer that, right? We talked about, can they engineer it to make it healthier in a way that nature didn't intend? And I don't know about that. That seems strange. It seems like a kind of an impossible task or something that they'll try for a long time and will eventually realize it's actually not healthier to mess with it. But to remove these unnatural things that don't belong in there, that just seems like a great reason to be a fan of cultivated meat in general. I just hadn't thought of that before. But I think it's a great thing that you could have, this seafood that a lot of people think of as healthy without potentially major health risk that is currently in it. And the same goes with the meats. If someone believes that red meat or something is healthy, which would be a far-fetched thing, but people do for sure. It's hard to make the argument that it is still healthy in its current form with all the junk that makes its way in. So if you can make a pristine version, I don't know. Seems like a pretty good thing for me.
So similar to you, that a few bells rang when I read that line.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're right. I mean, if you can make fish without the plastics and without the heavy metals, like that's the whole reason why people don't, some people limit the amount of fish or don't eat certain fishes.
Right.
Or pregnant women don't eat fish and, that kind of stuff. Like that's potentially huge. I think that's really big. And then also, I don't know why this has never occurred to me before. I mean, obviously the non-animal suffering is important, but like you can say chicken without the animal suffering, and like that's a pretty big thing. It is chicken, right? Or it is fish.
Yeah.
But there's no animal suffering. And like that's a pretty good byline. I think that will resonate with people who are non-vegans, and who want the chicken, want the fish.
Yeah. Right.
But also don't like the fact that, that there is that animal suffering involved.
Yeah, I think in my pre-vegetarian days, if I had heard about this idea, I would have been really excited. Like I would have thought I would definitely be eager to try that. I would have concerns about the health stuff, and I'd wonder, like, I'd want to be assured that it really was the same, and that there weren't, the extra the stuff where you're trying to encourage growth in an artificial means. That's scary, just for what it might do in your body. But I'm having a feeling that it's going to be a quick hurdle to clear. That pretty soon people are going to be skeptical at first, and then everyone's going to get over it when they realize no one's immediately getting harmed from this stuff and how much good is being done by it. I'm bullish on the cultivated meat as much as I am not on plant-based meats.
And you are on the word bullish.
I'm definitely bullish on the word bullish recently, for sure.
I'm here for it.
I know. All right. I'm also a little bit bullish on Aldi after reading this news. They have added 5,500 jobs to their already 45,000 that they have. But even more exciting, they decided to drop prices for fresh fruit and vegetables to encourage healthy eating in the UK. That means berries, grapes, tomatoes, apples, and ready-to-eat salads will all be lowered an average of 7% price cut on more than 50 items. This is just in the UK, of course. I think we've talked about Aldi. Maybe it was Lidl before. Had some animal cruelty kind of issues or something. But Aldi has really doubled down on the vegan thing. They put out this whole line of vegan cheeses and plant foods, and they've got these plant smoked salmon slices, which apparently are like the Trader Joe's tofu skins, where they're just selling out. Can't keep them in stock. I meant to tell you, I forgot. Like the next day after we talked about the tofu skins, I found myself in a Trader Joe's and I grabbed a box of the tofu skins, but they're in my freezer and I haven't tried them.
Oh, you haven't?
I don't know what to do with them. Like it says you can just microwave them, but then there's like no serving suggestions or anything. There's no flavors on them. It just would be like a piece of tofu. So I
bet the internet has a lot of suggestions.
Yeah, probably does. I need to do that. I put the salmon skins thing in our show plan here. Not skins, the salmon slices.
Let me pull it up.
Okay. It says plant menu is the big name. It says Viva Le Vegan under that. Very small, hard to read that. It has a little window that shows the product. It looks just like salmon. Has a picture of the product in use with capers or something on it. Looks just like salmon, smoked salmon. And it says smoked no salmon slices. But I think this is confusing. I mean, as I'm happy this stuff exists. To me, this is a confusing package for someone who just doesn't know the stuff exists at all. And they see this and they're like, well, this is interesting. It just might not even occur to them that it's not really salmon.
Yeah.
Even though it says no in front of it. I understand that. But you see the word salmon on there, and I don't know. It just seems easy to pick it up.
I'm going to... Sorry, I'm trying to find one that I can show it without showing the URL for our document here. A little privacy.
Oh, yeah, people make it in. Yeah, I should just give you the link to the thing.
Here we go. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It is a little confusing. Obviously, the no is right there. which is probably the best thing it has going for it. But yeah, I mean, it also says you see salmon, smoked salmon slices. You don't really see the as much.
Right. You see salmon. You see things that look like salmon. The little vegan symbol at the bottom is small. Vive la vegan is small. Plant menu is there, but that doesn't. I don't know. That wouldn't really matter. Again, if you're looking for the stuff, if you know this exists and you're trying to avoid it, then sure, this is easy to tell it's not it. But if you're just, especially if you don't usually the buyer of the house, you just run out to get this. Easy to pick this up and then bring it home, and it's not the right thing.
I'm curious what other people think. The people who are here live looking at it. Is it obvious to you? I mean, plant is pretty big.
Yeah, it is. People are all going to say that it's not confusing because everyone's pro-vegan and can't.
I mean, but we don't say that, and we're pro-vegan.
We're automatically say that. I especially am good at putting myself in somebody else's shoes and imagining what it's like to have totally different worldview than I have.
No, just you.
Just me, because I'm not into politics, so I don't play that game. But Steven's convinced, of course. Plant menu is enough to convince him. Ben Chode never had salmon, so I can't say.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
Well, it gives Ben Chode an opportunity to say he's never had salmon. Maybe he's never had any animal. Maybe his body's totally untainted.
All right, QB75, new commenter. Awesome, welcome. I saw plant and wouldn't confuse me. Britters, yeah, plant menu is key. Mr. Johnson says, though, I would definitely need to look twice.
Yeah.
But I don't have an issue with the look.
Alex Turton says, isn't the accidental purchasers who like it the perfect scenario? So we have to trick people, but we're just tricking them for their own good one time so that they can have it and then realize how good it is, and then we get a new vegan on board, or at least a new purchaser of plant-based salmon. You know who might like plant-based salmon is Tony P in DC. He always makes salmon dishes.
He makes a ton of salmon. We should get him. We should have a little campaign in the comment section to get him to try some vegan salmon.
One time he said it was a complex salmon dish that he made, and people started like capitalizing complex salmon as like the name of the dish, and he was like, "What are we having for dinner, honey? Complex salmon." Like that was the thing. That was great. All right.
Would you try this if you saw it?
I mean, I wouldn't be excited to. After my experience with the tuna, it really wasn't good. But yeah, I would try a few more times this plant-based fish before I swear it off forever.
Yeah, I would definitely try it. I would, and also I need to give, I did some downward facing Dougs about Aldi's, or I was hating on Aldi, Aldi's with an S, Aldi, like a year or so ago. And maybe I need to give them another try, another chance. I love going back to their big announcement, dropping the prices of fruits and vegetables to encourage people to buy more. That's fantastic. Because my biggest complaint is all this conversation around plant-based products are dying. The plant-based industry is, people are spending less money on plant-based foods. Yeah, my big problem with that argument and that whole conversation has been, we're talking about the fake meats. We're talking about the plant-based cheeses. And we're not talking about the fact that people might be buying more beans or fruits and vegetables and things like that. And so this is great. I love it.
Yeah,
more
great
Whole Foods,
point.
Please.
And that is a point I did not think of, but it's good. So, I was sort of naturally skeptical here and said, is it really that they want the UK people to eat healthier, or is it that this is a business move for some reason because they're not selling enough of these things or whatever?
Who cares? Who cares?
Right. Who cares? Because it is in line with this trend that you and I have identified from lots of headlines sort of suggesting it, that people want real fruits and vegetables. They don't just want these fake salmons and things like that. They want actual fruits and vegetables. They're kind of sick of the plant meats. And that this maybe plant-based diets, plant-forward diets, maybe even veganism's best hope for thriving once again is if people kind of go back to this stuff and start associating with, eating way more plants than most people do. That would be a good thing. So I'm also a fan of this. I'm also bullish on this stuff.
Good.
All right. And last up, a pesticide that has not been approved for use on U.S. crops has been found in oat-based products, and an overwhelming majority of them, says fooddive.com, including major cereal brands such as Quaker Oats and Cheerios, according to a new study from Environmental Working Group and a peer-reviewed study, no less. The chemical is chlormequat. Never heard of it before. It is not approved for food crops. can only be used on ornamental plants. But in 2018, the U.S. began accepting imports of oats from countries where it is allowed, and that's not a good thing. It has been detected in urine samples of U.S. adults from 2017 to 2023. So very recent urine samples that they used there. 69%, 74%, and 90% of the samples had this. That 90% number is from 2023, by the way. So, and I guess I don't know if that's of oat eaters that they looked at, or general population. But that's not a good thing. And there were, I guess I didn't cut it. There was definitely some risks to, associated with the potential to cause reduced fertility and harm to developing fetuses in animals, could carry similar risk for humans. There was one more thing I saw, and I think it says that like these levels though are probably still below the levels of what is considered safe in humans. These numbers that they're finding, but the point is they are finding it, and it's supposed to be banned in the U.S. So not good for the oat people, for the overnight oat crowd.
No, I had oatmeal this morning.
There you go. You're in trouble.
I am. I've been fasting pretty religiously in the morning, intermittent fasting. And today I had some oatmeal, and sure enough, I'm poisoning myself.
I guess. Fasting religiously, Doug, is actually a thing, and you're not doing that. That's a different.
Religious fasting, is that? I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I've been consistent with my intermittent fasting.
All right,
consistent. Good. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, you don't talk much about that, but that seems to be your thing this year. You just go to work each day, you do your stuff, and you don't brag about anything. You just do it.
And it's working out way better for me. It really is. I don't know why, but it is.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I know why. It's because that public declarations thing. If you do it, then you suddenly get all the accolades, and then you're satisfied. So keep not telling people. All right. Moving on to the feature article. It's Thursday, so it can only be a bestlifeonline.com. Actually, I should say it's a bestlifeonline.com, so it can only be Thursday. This one is headline: 63-year-old longevity doctor reveals 7 diet and exercise secrets to stay young. So 2 numbers in one headline. That's a formula for success. These small tweaks can add years to your life, and science backs it up. It turns out that this 63-year-old longevity doctor is Mark Hyman, who people in this audience will probably know. He's the founder and senior advisor for the Cleveland Clinic Center for Functional Medicine. Why does that matter in the headline that he's 63-year-old? Is it like this guy made it to 63, so we must listen to him? I can't figure out why they put that in there.
Yeah, it seems odd. It really does. Like it makes no sense. I mean, a 43-year-old could know just as much about longevity as a 80-year-old, right?
Yeah, right. It doesn't make sense. And 63 is not even like an old age. It's not an 80-year-old.
A 93-year-old longevity doctor
that would be
still practicing. 105-year-old longevity doctor who's still practicing daily. Yeah. That's a headline worth writing. That's an age worth including.
Well, I still think the numbers. I think the numbers in the headline is just work. So they just did it. All right. He does have some interesting tips though. So let's get into his. How many? I think there are 7. Yeah, 7. Number 1, sip electrolytes. So he starts when he gets out of bed. He drinks 32 ounces of water with electrolytes, then a cup of coffee. And this is all from a GQ interview that he did. Healthline then says what electrolytes do: control fluid balance, regulate blood pressure, aid muscle contraction, maintain blood pH. I just don't know about the argument for electrolytes, like as like important part of water. I think I read it from Kelly Starrett, who was talking about someone else, Stacy, somebody's thing, I forget who. Basically saying that if you drink water without food or without electrolytes in the water, then that water is just going to pass through you. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't hydrate you. Which just seems far-fetched and hard to believe. It also doesn't seem natural, but then I thought, you know what? I guess the natural, if you're getting your water out of the stream or whatever, I'm sure there's all kinds of minerals and things in it. So that's a good argument for why maybe we should have electrolytes. Like maybe our modern filtration systems and over sterilization of things has filtered out too much.
Yeah. Well, so what does that mean with food? I mean, food within the last half hour, or like every other sip needs to have food involved?
No, I don't think it's every sip, but like I think it's generally if you're not drinking your water at meals. Water at meals is fine because you're going to have sodium and minerals and things in your food. so you will absorb it. But yeah, but on its own, it might just not be doing you that much good. So I don't know. The problem with this is like you end up taking in a lot of sodium, and
Right.
I don't know if there are really good electrolyte formulas that don't have very much or any sodium. Not that sodium's bad. It's just because I think we eat so much salt that then we don't need any more. So anyway, I don't have an answer here. I went on a little kick where I was doing this first thing in the morning, and it didn't do anything for me. But I don't know. I'm a little bit seduced by this. I think maybe I need to start that routine.
Alex says, I never know what a sensible source of electrolyte is, though, short of going to that stream near Doug's dipping point. I wouldn't go there, at least not Tuesday or Thursday mornings. Let it clear out a little bit first.
Steven says, I stopped Doug getting canceled for a change. What was that about?
The fasting.
That's right. All right. And my mom points out that the oats from China were especially affected. So there's anti-Chinese rhetoric. I'm not on board with that. Need to confirm that. All right. All right. Next up, Mark Hyman also drinks green tea. So no big surprise there. We see that all the time. The green tea is healthy for us. I keep meaning to start drinking green tea again in the afternoons, not to replace coffee because coffee's too good. But in the afternoons, if it doesn't affect my sleep, then I could go for that. They mention here, this is from the International Journal of Molecular Sciences, that green tea catechins, I don't know what that is, catechins, I don't know, are widely described to be efficient in the prevention of lung cancer, breast cancer, esophageal cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, and prostate cancer. That's good. I don't know, widely described. I don't know if that's the same as they've been shown to do that. But anyway, it does seem like a good thing. So I'd like to try that. All right, number 3 gets a little bit wacky here. He's got a healthy aging shake. And here's what it includes. 40 to 50 grams of goat whey and 5 grams of creatine for muscle building. So you and I, Doug, are on board with creatine. We think it's a good thing for muscle building and probably for longevity, for heart health. I believe it lowers homocysteine levels. But you don't need 5 grams to do that. 5 grams is the muscle building dose, and they say that right there, grams for muscle building. So I'm just a little bit surprised that that's kind of mainstream, that quantity. But again, maybe it's just for muscle. Maybe it's for gym bro stuff more than heart longevity. But 40 to 50 grams of any kind of protein, much less goat whey, which he uses Mount Capra or naked goat. That's just a wacky ingredient to add in there. You do hear about Blue Zones dieters eating some amount of, not dieters, the actual Blue Zones people who those Blue Zones work is based on. They often consume some form of dairy, and it's almost never, maybe never, cow dairy. It's like from sheep or goats, some other kind. And I think that's because cow's milk has some. I'm totally out of my comfort zone here, but I think cow's milk has some kind of A protein or double A protein or something like that, and these other milks don't have that. So, and that's the one that is thought to be associated with bad things. So anyway, not totally out of left field that he would do what Blue Zoners do, but 40 to 50 grams, that just seems like a lot for a morning smoothie.
Yeah.
All right, and then he says, I had a whole cocktail of other stuff. MitoPure, which is a postbiotic. Also put probiotics, adaptogenic mushrooms, some frozen berries, maybe some macadamia milk, and whiz it up. And that's basically his breakfast. He blitzes it, as they say in Australia, I think. All right, number 4, use resistance bands. And TB12, our early plant-based morning show topic, TB12 being taught in schools. He uses the TB12 brand, Tom Brady's brand, of course. And he says he does this because there are 4 elements of fitness: cardiovascular, strength, flexibility, and stability. I think that's does cover the different sides of fitness. And resistance bands covers 3 of them. Does good old weight training not do 3 of them and possibly 4 of them? I mean, you get strength. I think you get flexibility. I think you get stability. Maybe not. Maybe you don't get so much stability from weights. Like the bands pull you to the side, right? No weight really does.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay.
So, yeah.
But you're having to hold the weight. I guess if it's
definitely,
keep it from falling, right?
There's some sort of stability, but maybe not like a lateral stability so much that you can get with bands. So I get that. That makes sense. Yeah, and also, I mean, I guess reduced injury risk if you're doing bands versus weights. And as you get older, once you get up 63 or so, you know, a major catastrophic injury with weights could be really bad. So I kind of get that recommendation. You gonna get a set of bands, Doug?
No.
Start doing pull-ups with bands?
No.
They can assist you. Holden does assisted pull-ups sometimes with bands. You don't need that.
Yeah.
Because you're
I don't
just
need that.
crushing
I'm just
pull-ups.
cranking them out. Just cranking.
Good. All right. Number 5, eat lots of good fats. I think this is good advice in general. I know there is the low carb or the high carb, low fat school, and that does seem to work for a lot of health stuff. But high fat, not so many carbs also seems to work. So in this case, he describes a typical lunch. Could be a big salad with avocado and arugula. I put in toasted pumpkin seeds or pine nuts. He says, I'll throw in a can of wild salmon or a can of mackerel or a couple of sardines, tomatoes, olives, olive oil. So no vegan alternative mentioned there. Looks like he's kind of Blue Zone's dieter here with the green tea, the fish, the goat protein. Even the bands are sort of Blue Zones ish in terms compared to like free weight training or even running. All right, number 6, eat lots of cruciferous vegetables. We like that advice. We know that advice.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he doesn't say, what does he say? Cellular detoxification pathways. He doesn't really mention the reduced cancer risk. That's Joe Furman's big reasons for these cruciferous vegetables. By the way, cruciferous here, the examples they mentioned: broccoli, kale, collard greens, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. There are many more. Cauliflower, I believe. What are the others, Doug? I'm blanking on them. Radishes. Anyway, they're a family. Mustard greens is one, but they're good. They always have a bitter flavor to them, and that bitter flavor turns out to be related to what makes them so cancer fighting. So anyway, get your cruciferous greens and your cruciferous veggies in. And number 7, consider exercise a drug. This is a Peter Attia line for sure. He says, if exercise were a drug, it would be the most powerful drug ever invented on the planet. Yeah, lots and lots of reasons. But basically...
But you're supposed to say no to drugs.
I know, it's confusing. It's all this conflicting advice.
Confused.
This does seem to be good advice. Peter Attia made a big case for that in his book Outlive. That everyone talks about diet, but exercise might be the really most important thing. So really need both, but you can't skip the exercise. So yeah, there you go. There's your 7 longevity tips, health and longevity tips. I mean, that's a pretty good article from Best Life Online. That was not a bunch of fluff.
Yeah,
it was good.
I don't know about the goat whey protein, but other than that,
yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't doubt it.
I mean, it might be fine. Yeah, right.
QB75 says he coined the term pegan, pescatarian, and vegan. We talked about the pegan diet one day early on in the show. I thought it was like paleo and vegan. No, I'm trying to look it up quickly on the fly here. 75% fruits and vegetables, remaining 25% eggs, meats, and healthy fats and nuts. So, but it sounds like very low grain. So I still think it's paleo because I think pescatarian already is a mix of well, it's close.
Vegetarian.
Yeah, right. But yeah, you could be a vegan pescatarian too, and not just. So anyway, I don't know. All right, but I do like the comments. QB75, and I like any new commenters. I'm a fan of. Okay, a lot of good discussion. Too much for me to even catch up and read here. Ben Cho says, anti-Chinese, settle down, mom. To my mom. So I said I didn't endorse the rumor that it was the Chinese oats were the problem. All right. All right. Alex Turton says, does green tea and kombucha count, or does the fermentation offset the benefits? I mean, yeah, good question. I think it might even enhance the benefits. Fermentation.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants you to eat fermented foods, right?
They do, but I told you before, Doug, those fermented foods are associated with increased cancer risk of certain types. But I think kind of small scale studies that have made that association. And there's good stuff that comes from fermenting foods as well. So I don't know. I don't know if it negates anything. Who knows? Big Meaty Claw says green tea slaps.
Great
You familiar with
taste
that
slap.
lingo, Doug?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. It does slap.
We say bruh now, Doug.
Bruh. Yeah,
B-R-U-H.
bro. Brew.
All right. That's it. We're done. We're 47 minutes in. Good show today. I enjoyed this show. I enjoyed the
Yeah, this show slapped.
the show did slap, despite being the same format as the past 300 shows.
And great comments from everybody. You should give yourselves a round of applause. Really good chatter today. Smash that like button to show your appreciation to yourself.
Yes, that'd be the most thing you could do to most appreciate yourself. If you smash that like button, so that people can find the show and hear how good your comment was. All right, Steven says, "Have a great weekend, everyone," and that is right. Have a great weekend, everyone. There will still be a No Meat Athlete Radio tomorrow. Should have me, Doug, Isabel, and Matt Tolman all on it, I believe, which is actually answering Big Meaty Claus's question. So no plant-based morning show on Fridays, but we do have that now, and it's live, and it's 4 of us, and it's good. Similar vibes to plant-based morning show, but it has 4 people. We generally just go around the horn, give opinions on different topics, make fun of each other, and things like that. So that's I think it's always at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Probably might move here and there, but in general,
I think it's on my calendar. It's 1 o'clock.
Oh, so it already did move. Okay. Yeah, we got to do something about that. We got to make that stay at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that'll be tomorrow. So yeah, come tune in for that, or go to the podcast feed, the Outlier Health Podcast. You can always get all the shows there. All these shows go in one place. So go there on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and sign up. All right, that's it. We'll be back Tuesday with this show. And again, thanks everyone for coming, and have a really good weekend.
Absolutely. See you, everybody.